2nd of December. I should know that by now. 2016. We came on here a little later. We're winding down for some family gathering and relaxation. It is 5:20 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so we'll probably run about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. We don't know yet. We're just going to take it in stride. We're going to also take a little bit of a page from yesterday's Blog Talk Radio show about the shifting our awareness, getting out of that separateness, that personal space, thinking that we're just one when we're all. So, and that is activating that remembrance that we are a geo and not an ego. So I'm going to set this out to Twitterland, Facebook, and Ustream, and let that go out. Announcement. We're going to open up our chat room, and in the meantime, while the chat room is opening up, through divine power and by divine grace, may all that you hear here in today's show activate your consciousness, your remembrance, bring you full swing into the new reality of who you are. May you keep expanding and growing. May we care for each other in these times so that we can activate our own awareness and, we can activate our own awareness and be in touch with our own divinity and know that divinity can bless everybody in our presence, everyone from household to household, neighborhood to neighborhood, town, city, hamlets, harbors, counties, boroughs, states, countries, and entire nations. This is an opportunity for us to engage our divinity and allow ourselves to move forward with it without any fear or any doubt. There's always an initial feeling of inadequacy that we may have, or doubt, or illusion, or maybe we get confused and think we can't move forward, but every day we have to. And also realize there are many of us who are continuing to expand on this path that we find ourselves in. Also realize that not every path is going to be smooth every time. So where we find a lot of bumps and ridges and breaks, we have to repair those roadways so that there is finer communication and more direct communication and more direct experiences and more healing, wellness, more wholeness in our lives. So what I wanted to bring forward in part of tonight's message, and we're going to do a meditation, and this meditation also is going to raise the level of chi in your body, chi in the atmosphere in your homes, chi in your neighborhood. We're going to amp it up tonight, and we're going to release that so that everyone that we come in contact with can receive a blessing from the elevation and the extension of the universal chi. And we want to plug into that universal divine essence and bring that energy forward. It is our time in our moment to not allow ourselves to get stuck and to feel like we're immobilized and that we can have a better life still, or think that others cannot. So for those of you who are healers, those of you who are energy and light worker kind of healers, those of you that belong to various orders where magic is, rituals and ceremonies are performed on a daily, nightly basis, you should look within yourself and see how you can further eradicate a virus that is constantly bubbling up around us. And that virus is bigotry and racism and prejudices. And all have a right to their opinions, but not to damage uh, the minds and hearts of those amongst us, especially the much younger minds, the children. It has been proven time and time again that people grow into this life and negative behaviors are learned, and positive behaviors are learned also. But if you notice, what is called quote unquote love is what is embodied and embraced by many individuals and beings, and this love is natural. It's not taken away from. So we want to put forth a greater effort in releasing our light into the world, not just into an elite group of people, not just into a selective group of people, but to share that light. And we are aware that sometimes others aren't ready to hear the light. They don't want to hear the light, and that's okay. We have to remember that, in other life streams across from one lane to the next, at times we didn't want to hear any truths, any light, any love. We had also gotten caught up in time frames in our consciousness where we were doing many things differently. We were speaking differently. We were acting differently. We were being supportive or non-supportive differently. So we have a chance to bring back greater harmony and balance, and we have an opportunity to shed light into darkness. That's what a light bulb does. That's what a candle flame does. It sets up an opportunity to see light, to see your way through. Also, we know that there are many different timelines of possibilities. And if we are aware that these are timelines of possibilities, then the possible outcomes can be peace, love, and harmony, happiness, joy, prosperity, abundance. Not just for a few, not just for the few that is called the many, but for everyone. It's just a matter, and I use the matter seriously and not lightly. Matter speaks of the womb of consciousness, the womb of divinity. So what matters is our consciousness first. That is what matters. And then the energy that we use to go into our thinking process and our feeling process. And we often speak of this energy as a current that runs through us. And there's no accident that money universally around the world is called a currency. Currency, which is same letters as current, and what's that other one? An occurrence. Okay, something that is occurring in your life, meaning that it's happening in that moment. So the energy, as money, is a currency that's happening all the time. That's has its peaks and its valleys all the time. So it is the same with how we are viewing the world around us, and sometimes how we see ourselves in the world. There are many peaks and valleys there. How we see loved ones, friends, strangers, neighbors, co-workers. Same thing. That this is like on a roller coaster ride, and we have to pay attention to those thoughts. We have to pay attention to our feelings that spin off behind it, because many times it's not just the repetitive thinking, but is the brevity of the emotions that get connected with those thoughts. And I did, I believe it's about 2 months ago here, or 3 months ago, and I may have done it on my Blog Talk radio program. I suggested for people to take 30 seconds and allow themselves to go into a state of remembrance where they were angry or sad or even depressed about something, and to feel how that emotional turbulence was upsetting them. And then we stopped that completely. We took a couple of deep breaths, and then we went into feeling ecstatic, happy, joyful, buoyant, uplifted, and what it takes to feel that energetically. And many people had contacted me later in their own ways, via phone call or email address, saying that was a unique experience because they never really thought of it that way. And we often don't think of it that way, that our emotions are tied into our thoughts. And it's our emotions that are like the fishing pole. We throw our emotions out there into the sea of thoughts. And eventually we're seeking someone's approval. We're thinking that person's going to go yay or nay, for us or against us, because we don't trust our own thought or feeling that we have. And this topic of ego is really beginning to be put out there amongst a lot of people. A lot of people are going on Facebook. I know today they were talking about ego. And I know a lot of people are watching my live video streams and they're listening to my broadcast, blog talk. So we're all talking about it. And this really came about because I was in search of Akhenaten's deeper meaning of his name. Akhenaten, A-H-K, I always have to spell it. I mean, I've gotten to the point that I've used it so much. Ahekenaten. And so I was, delving into his name and seeing it as the brilliance of solar energy, the brilliance of spirit or divine spirit. And it took me into Atman, Atman, and Atman means soul. And so I was looking at that, the soul, like he's the soul of the sun. His name carries such a vibration. It led me to the word Mahatma. Mahatma, Mahatma. So like one of the Hindu leaders was Mahatma Gandhi. And that was his first name, Mahatma. And some people in some of their studies were saying that Mahatma meant the great wheel, or the great wheel of the mother, of the divine mother. And so this takes you into that level, the great soul, the great spirit, the great universal principle in action. And this is very important for us to gain a foothold on, to begin to understand that our words have power because they are connected. Many of the words that we speak are connected to other words that that are of the ancient level. So you've got the word, for instance, invocation, and from that word is invoke. And invoke comes from a Latin word which is vocare, or vocare. I may not be pronouncing it right, but it's VOCAR. And so, in fact, I'm going to look it up through my phone here and give you the meaning so that you can hear it. But yeah, invoke as a verb means to cite or appeal as an authority for an action, or support of an argument. To invoke the appeal, invoke the presence. Okay. Another term was meaning here to call on a deity or a spirit in prayer as a witness for inspiration to be gained. You see, to appeal to pray to call on, to supplicate, to entreat, to solicit, to beg, to implore, to beseech. So the power of invocations is invoking a divine presence, and also to bring forth a law or a right. And as we even go further, let me see if I can get the word I was looking forward here. to say it, and it was a beautiful thing how we're using words all the time, and words are coming forth from ancient languages, and that's how we are coming up with all of these terms. But we have to understand they're coming from other languages, other we call it more the ancient language. So here, the actual root, I pronounce it as vocar. It might be vocare or vocar. Okay, VOCAR, and the meaning is to name or call. So when we're using the word, and you think of it, when we use the word vocabulary, voca is right there, VOC, VOCA. So when we use words, we develop a vocabulary to communicate with others, right? So that we can name things, right? And so this is like again telling us where terms come from, the energy of words are coming from. And we want to start to pay attention, because the words that we use, as I stated before, and we already know this, the words that we use can hinder us or elevate us. Words that we use can hinder us or elevate us. I'll say it a third time. Words that we use, that we speak, can hinder us or elevate us. We know that certain words are said, and they've said over and over, been used for hundreds of years, certain four-letter words. Those things are designed to upset one, upset the personality of another person, upset them emotionally. Yet there are other four-letter words and five-letter words and more beautiful words are designed to create an atmosphere, a feeling around someone, and an internal feeling, such as when someone says love. But there's so many ways the word love has been used, sometimes the weight of it has dropped out. And there's other times the word love can be used with a certain degree of emotional intensity behind it. And then the person feels what the person who's on the receiving end feels, the beauty that was being projected through the sound of letters and words involving love or unconditional love. So I want to bring back just briefly in my notes here what I mentioned last night. I was looking up, as I said, from a week ago. I was researching Akhenaten about 10 days ago. I'm always researching the name, always looking at the name, always going in the name, always meditating on his name. He's one of my most potent guides and connections. So as I was doing that, I started going a little deeper and connecting with his ennobled soul, and this three-letter word got projected into my mind, and that was Geo, G-E-O. And as I started to look at the word Geo, I automatically see that there's a word that we often use all the time called ego. And that ego is that part of ourselves that cares to be selfish, cares to just put all the attention on oneself, even if it's the illusionary self. Always thinking about themselves but no one else. The self is more important than everyone else. The self is disconnected from other selves. Therefore, it can raise itself into a pseudo position, being on a pedestal where everyone looks up to that particular entity, that particular mindset. So the more I was looking at ego, I could see the letters in there, and it was just a matter of rearranging them. So I took the G out of the middle and I left the E in the middle, and I wrote GEO. And as I began to focus on that, place my entire attention, I thought of other words like geometry, geode. Geode is like it's a stone, and in that stone, if broken properly, other small gems and stones and quartz stones fall out of it. It's like the geode is like the mother lode of a crystal, and inside are other crystals. So when they break it open, hammer it open, drill it open, crack it, it releases all of these other gems. Sometimes it may not. You might see just one or two gems that have been in there. Or when it was opened up, maybe the center of all of this is only that big. Only that big, where some are huge. So, geometry, geode. Then we hear sacred geometry. So we hear this all the time. So I wanted to go into it, and I wanted to allow myself to look at it. So when I looked it up, geo comes from the Egyptian, which then took me further back to the Greeks. And Greeks philosophers, many of them like Pythagoras, spent time going into Egypt to seek out the wisdom, seek out the masters, to strive to get this information, and they were trying to shoo him away, and eventually he was persistent, and eventually he showed some signs of being spiritually connected or growing or opening, and they took him in and he learned in their sacred schools of what we call today of mysticism and magic and occult, a fuller understanding of how the presence of one God is there. God all over in everything. So we looked at this, and geo comes from this word that means of the earth. And of is a preposition in grammar, English grammar, that means pertaining to. So geo pertains to the earth as we know it right now. EARTH. And in the word earth, if you turn it around, you will see the word heart, HERTH. So symbolically, I equate them as one and the same. Earth is heart, heart is organic, therefore earth is organic. And geo comes from there. Now geo, when I lent my thinking cap into it, my meditation parts, geo is spirit, the heart of the earth. And the heart of the earth is nothing more but geo. And geo is everything. Everything is in geo, geo is in everything else. The energy, the spirit of geo is passing through these various planes. So then I looked at sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is connected to the sacred divine sources of sound, light, and color. We see this all the time. We hear a sound, a tone, a buzzing, a humming sound. We see light or emanations of energy that gives off light, a bright, we call it neutral light. And then you look deeper and you see colors coming through, radiating through that. And so we see that, but it's having infinite intelligence. Sacred geo. Geo is sacred. It can measure other things, including itself, but measures beyond itself. It is therefore an infinite intelligence. It's a divine energy source within itself. It is perfect just as it needs to be. It can cause itself to take on any form, anywhere, in any moment. That means the geo is a shapeshifter. Just like you are a shapeshifter. You change your shapeshifter mentally and emotionally. We change our mind, our thoughts. We don't make up our mind right away. We don't create a decision on the spot. We wait, or we got to go with how it feels. The people said, I need to sit with that for a while. They need to see what they're feeling about it. If it's worth their time to be involved in a project. Do they need to let the project go, if they decide to keep the project, who else can they solicit, invoke into this project so that everyone can benefit from it? So we see it as everywhere, but yet not separate. Geo's pulling everything together. I use the word sacred. And when I was young, I used to go, sacred is sac red. What sac is red, or what sac is carrying red fluid in it? Well, our entire body is carrying red fluid in it. Our entire body has blood vessels which carry this energy form throughout the body, throughout every organ, internally and externally, also every layer of our being on this so-called physical, I'm going to call it a physical moment. So, sac red, you turn around, is a red sac, which is blood, speaking of the blood. Now, people in other, Christian circles, they call it the blood of the Christ. And that's the purpose of taking the wine, drinking the wine, and the crackers, the bread, But if you look at it, it's really the blood of the universe, the energy. The heartbeat of the universe is the heart of the universe itself. The heart of the universe is the eye of the universe itself. The heart and the eye of the universe itself rides off the chi, which is the blood of the universe. It's like the fuel, part of the fuel, elements of the fuel that's needed to run the universe. What? To create itself continuously. Or to sit in a state of stillness. That energy, that blood-like energy, is needed to feed into and feed off of. It also is equally organic. People say, well, I need a scientific proof. You don't really need one. You just need to sit with the energy. You need to go, and you need to be open-minded. And you just need to, even when you come up with a definitive answer, you don't have to toss it aside. You just need to go in a little further. Sometimes we rely on every scientist out there to know, but scientists have their own biases about information and things that they're reading, and most of them haven't traveled anywhere. They've traveled in books, they've traveled from university to university, but we don't know of any who have said that they traveled from one galaxy to the next. We're only going by what they read, what they figured out, and what they read and what they discuss amongst others. So you have that right to discuss amongst your colleagues, loved ones, your friends, even with the neighbor that you have a good conversation with, especially if you know the neighbor has some interest in things of the metaphysical, the spiritual, the occult, the shamanistic, you name it. Sacred means divinity, and divinity is the condition of that which is divine. Sacred geometry, in essence, is divine spirit geometry, or a divine spiritual geometry. Divinity and spirituality kind of go hand in hand. So it's a spiritual geometry. It's based on divine things. EO, when placed together, EO is Latin for to advance, march on, go. Not sit. EO means to go. Go forth. Go forth from where? From out of the earth. Out of the heart. To move forward from the earth. That's what EO is. Therefore the G. What is the G then? The G, like EO, which is Latin, like Geo, which is more Greek oriented, G is the power, power that we can feel off of the energy that we can't see. It means opportunity. It means capacity and the ability to stock up on something, to build upon something. Geos are builders. Geos have divine intelligence that's infinite. Geos are connected to other things, other beings. Geos can measure things. They can measure their thoughts, their feelings, light coming from other sources, height, width, and girth of yourself, height, width, and how many floors of a building, and how much does it cost, and how many elements are placed in there, from wood to metal to concrete to stone. What are those things? What do they value weight wise, or wiring? You know, we see a cord, a tubing that has many wires that are running through it, and then they're tied onto something else and plug it into a wall to create juice. The prong has metal, and when it goes into the socket, it makes contact with the other metal. So if there's some electricity that's been turned on from outside your house, those appliances, those stereos, those pressure cookers, those toasters, musical equipment like amplifiers, all of it runs on that. It's acting as a conductor on some level. It has the capacity and the ability to do that. The place, that's what the letter G is. The geo has the ability to place itself. It has the capacity to acknowledge that it can place itself in the midst of more energy that is like itself, divine, intelligent source. So we see geos pertaining to the earth, from the earth. Eo is to advance, march on, move forward, to go. G gives you the power to do that. So as we go further down the line, geo is having the capacity to move forward, to advance. That's what a geo does. In your consciousness, aren't you always advancing, moving forward? You have E, which is also EX. E is a derivative of EX, means out of or from. People use the term my ex-wife. They came out of a relationship. They came from that relationship, so that's how they identify that other person. Just like she said, well, that's my ex-husband, because she had to come out of that situation. O means naught. Nought. It is zero, or the cipher, infinite, infinity, 0 point. It indicates, the O indicates the power to invoke. So you see what we're getting at here. The letter O gives the power to call something in. The letter E means you're taking it out of something, because in other words, you're taking it out of the ethers. You could use E to represent the ethers. You're taking this energy, this element, up out of the ethers. And as you do that, you're going to allow yourself to move forward. So that means the power of creation rests with each and every one of us to be able to move forward in our lives, be able to call something into effect, call something in on our behalf to help us move forward. So as I went further into this, geo then, to break it down further, geo in Latin would also mean, or the possibilities that it means, this: the spirit of invocation is a geo. The spirit of invocation. That means you've got this consciousness inside yourself to create. When we create something, you're creating a picture or a painting or a mosaic or a sculpture out of something. You see a wood sculpture, a marble sculpture, a metal sculpture. You were able to create something energetically so people see it and can place a value, or they could agree to the value that you've placed on that object that was once just a clump of metal, once was a piece of wood, once had bark on it, branches on it, leaves on it. So you have this quality, spirit, that has the power to invoke itself. Spirit has the power to invoke itself. That means it turns itself inside and out. That's what the Fibonacci code is. Everything is aligned to itself and is turning inside of each other. And if it goes out of each other, it will find opposition, or it'll find what? Contrast, or I use contrast like a 90-degree angle connection. Opposition is accurately a 180-degree position. So it's like mirror opposites straight on. And so we are seeing this because it becomes, in our awareness, or can, a God cell. And in that moment, it's in the state of perfection. Perfection. The God cell is the geo in you. The God cell is the geo in you. The God cell containing all of the DNA in there. If we can get to that point where we touch and tap into and walk along, and I'm going to call them strands, like layers, and land, we or swim it or breathe it, but it carries us from one distinctive area to the next, but all are one and the same. This is why the New Age people, the New Thought people, the metaphysicians, the shamans, you name it, have said over and over and over, we are one with God, and God is one with us. Meaning you're one and the same. If you're one and the same, exactly the same, but you could think differently. Like you have two twins, they could think differently at times, and then most of the times their thoughts are picking up on the other one's thoughts. Couples that are connected just right for marriage, whether it's on paper, just within their heart, they are also can read into each other. Mothers can read into babies. They have that natural, instinctive, intuitive nature. They don't have to be around their child. They just know if they're going to be all right or not going to be all right. So we see the geo as a God cell, which has the power to invoke itself into manifestation and then later into materialization. Therefore, the three capital letters I am is equal to spirit, as sacred, meaning divine and infinite. Infinite meaning that it is elevated and it's in perpetual motion, means it never stops. There's nothing else impacting upon it, and it remains in motion. And even before it comes to a level of halting, something similar to it shall be drawn to it and tap it for it to move. It has no beginning or end. Geo is likened to Alpha, and the Omega is the Om. Alpha and Omega. And in essence, it's really both. It's the first and the last. The Geo is the first and the last. And the first and the last are so close, unequivocally close, that you can't tell them apart. It generates and regenerates itself. The Geo generates and regenerates itself, and along the way it rebirths itself, repurifies itself, reclarifies itself, and retransforms itself. It's constantly going through a process. But in the illusion called Earth, we see it all tied together, all smashed together, asymmetrical with symmetrical. We see no sense of rhythm at times. Other times we experience the rhythm because it's on the inside. We have to project now. The Geo is the I am, which is the God cell, which is the perfect spirit. It is sacred, its meaning is divine and infinite. It has always been in perpetual motion, constant, consistent, never stopping. It may slow down, but it picks up momentum due to the gravity of energy that's around it, weighing it down magnetically. It transforms itself into where it is to acclimate itself to its environment. This is the geo. And then this geo does what? It transforms like a butterfly out of the cocoon to live this extraordinary life, have this extraordinary connections, have this extraordinary energy pass on to others, or being passed to that particular individual. The word individual means cannot be divided unto itself or by itself. So the geo is that way. The geo is constantly transforming itself. So what I want to do right now, I want to take us into a meditation so that we could activate the remembrance of the geo. If we are all this organic form of a being, having divine intelligence, infinite spirit, infinite awareness, we understand our birthrights is native to ourselves and native to the law of spirit, the one. No more separations, no more secrets. And I say that because if you can grow in your awareness where there's no more secrets, where you can meditate so deeply through yoga, pranic yoga, through healing, through Reiki, through Qigong, through practicing karate katas, practicing gung fu forms, as they call them, same thing, or you're out there doing your tai chi exercises, but you're meditating deeply into it because it's a process. And when you're able to do that, you find extra gems and jewels related to you. You're putting yourself into the current of divine energy. So take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and out of the mouth. Begin to envision in your premises a beautiful golden white light. And as this golden white light surrounds you, surrounds your loved ones, which also includes any dog, cats, or birds that you've got in your home, and any other creatures in your home, you're sending out a bubble of light, this pink light inside this golden white light. There are even streaks passing through it like violet, the violet flame of transmutation. It's changing everything. It's raising your vibration. It's showing your truth of who you are or who you're striving to become. You begin to take on those qualities. Akhenaten says it's in the scientific way, we call it, I'm stuttering for him, we call it, say it again, we call it manipulation of atoms and molecules. That's what Akhenaten says. Matter, M-A-T-T-E-R, involves the manipulation of atoms and molecules, which also means a further step to take them from the ethers and pull them into existence. Take them from the ethers, from your surroundings, draw on it, bring it into your existence. You want to see it so that it's tangible. That means so it materializes in front of you and it through you. Women are the greatest teachers of this. Once they receive the seed from the man, the mother, most mothers get a chance to walk with this baby on the inside of them, passing back and forth conversation, laughter, joy. But if the mother is pregnant and in some kind of environment that could place her in danger, then it's up to her to protect herself, not give in and move herself, her body, baby within, so that there's no harm. It is essential that we go into this now as a deeper meditation. So you see yourself in this bubble of light, a golden white light and pink light in it, and passing through it, in and out of it, are the flames. Flames. Unconditional flames. Cleansing the auric field. Cleansing any karmic energy that's imbalanced there. Cleansing it. Purifying it. You see what is coming over the horizon, and it is a purer divine essence called yourself. It is your higher self, and your higher self is connected to your immense spirit guides and connected to angels, all powers of angels, connected to great men and women who have transitioned into the light and left something, left their footsteps clearly. If you were seeking how to be a better business person, you'll find that in their footsteps, leading you to a library, leading you to read, leading you to meet some people that could help you get the business out, or help you further market the business, or help you bring the business out to the top. You have that same task, you see, because on the inside is really the soul of you looking out. The soul of you is looking out. Inside the soul is the Spirit of God looking through the eyes of the soul to do what? To share itself onto the world. Shine its light onto the world. Bless itself in the world. We see this coming to the rise for us. Yes, Akhenaten said, is the manipulation of atoms and molecules. Some may be split, others might be left alone, but some are separated from others to create an atmosphere. To create an atmosphere that can bring us all forward in quote-unquote time to align and match up, vibrate on the same level which we are seeking. Some great philosophers once said, whatever you are seeking is seeking you. If you're wholeheartedly seeking it, it is coming back tenfold. You have to be ready. It is bringing the fruits of your labor, so to speak, into the world. How will you choose to brand yourself? That's a big word now. People used it before, had no power behind it. Now people are using the word brand. B-R-A-N-D. Your brand means it has a signature phrase on it. It means, for me, not only a signature phrase, but my spiritual metaphysical ministry, the Circle of Grace One, has its logo. And it's also a similar logo that's being created for the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance, which is a 5-level tiered institute, metaphysically and spiritually. And I'm revamping it right now, because it used to cost a lot when I came up with it, with the institute. But I'm going to put it out there so people could get it. They could pay a 2-day or 3-day amount. We're going to plan some things and people can get this information. I'm going to do it so I teach it online, just like this, in a live video stream. You'll be able to receive this, get it, and enjoy it, and replay it over and over. So make it easy for you to go to school with me. Let's get back to this, though. Because if we understand that we have the ability to invoke something, we call it into a place, we set up a vibration through the tone of our voice and our intention that goes with it and our emotional feeling that goes into it. And what happens? We start to pull into our lives various experiences. People drive their cars, they wanted to go to the movies, they wanted to go to the malls and go shop, but they need a good, solid parking spot. Sooner or later, they follow their gut feeling, boom, they find one. But they may find one further back, so they go down a little further because they don't want to walk so far. They go all the way down toward the front and find a better one. Why? Because they know. We used to call it parking angels. Get in touch with the parking angel, see if the parking angel can give us a spot. Well, there's a level of timing, see, because you leave one environment, your home, your business, or partying with some friends, socializing with some friends at a movie, you leave, and for some reason you can't, find your keys, or you forgot something. All that's being done on your behalf to protect you from something that you could have ran into, like an accident. Or running out of gas. Now you remember, oh, I got to get some gas, and the gas station's right across the street. Ding dong, saved by the bell of your own humanity, your own soul. So it's getting this awareness together to develop this consciousness. So here you got this bubble of light on you now. Perfect sphere if you want. It could be an oblong shape. It could be more like an egg shape if you want. But you're in it. There's no doubt you're in it. And as you begin to allow yourself to have this experience, you begin to experience something else. Expansion. You begin to expand from within. And as you go within, I want you to picture yourself as a miniature form. And now you're walking inside your heart, walk inside your liver, peer inside your kidneys and take a seat inside each kidney. You can do the same for each lung. Nonetheless, you can connect on a greater level, even though it's a minute level, but on a greater level. And what? You can see the atomic and molecular structure. You get a chance to change it, add on to it, subtract from it. You see something there because the geo is you. You're walking inside yourself, inside your divine self, where the divine spark of your divinity is. And you're it. You're poised to advance. You're poised to move forward. But move forward from out of something? Yes. And then as you're having the power to do that, to move out of something, then is the O said, invoke this now. Through the will of your word, the intentions of your mind, and the words that you speak, you could will it into action. That's what a decree is about. That's what next week's show's on Blog Talk Radio and right here next week. The title of that show is I See It and Decree. Or better this way, I see and decree that it shall be. Who's the that? The geo. You. We're going to plant the seeds in your consciousness so that you become more of who you think or who you believe that you are. I'm going to leave you with this thought. And I'm going to give out some announcements. And we're going to take this meditation a little further. My late mother used to say, she said when I didn't understand something, she just said, keep on living. Keep on discovering. Then keep on using your mind. Then you begin to understand. She used to say that if you think about something enough times, more than what you normally do, 3 times a day, you begin to double it, triple it, quadruple it. You continue to think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. You begin to take on the feeling of what you're thinking about. You begin to get excited about it. Eventually, you cause everything around you, the atoms and molecular structure of other people, the ethers around them, to change accordingly, so you can see yourself receiving what you were seeking after in the first place. But some philosophers have said, whatever you are seeking, it is seeking you, meaning that your consciousness is on the same level of its consciousness. You're not only having the potential consciousness, you are the consciousness. And because you become this consciousness, you see all the possibilities fall into place. You see all the possibilities around you, which means you can change the script again if you needed to do that. Because you're seeking whatever it is that you're seeking that's seeking you. It has to fit into your life. Or you're going to expand your life, make it bigger so it can fit. But not only can it fit in, it has to blend. In this meditation, you are seeking to blend with the divine source of all life, no matter where it is. You are attuned and linked into it now. You are one and the same with it now. From here on out, when you focus on the image of a divine being, a deity, your ancestors, you take on that quality. This is why you hear people say, the ancestors are waiting for you, and then someone says, you are those ancestors. You're waiting on yourself. You came back from the future. Just like that movie, Back to the Future. You came back from ahead to see yourself. But this time when you came from another space, energy field to see yourself, to magnify yourself, to amp yourself, what did you bring with you? You brought some tools. You brought some gems that are the gems of awareness and remembrance, so that you, trapped in this physical form, can now think your way out of it, can now enhance it, can now make it better. Well, people say, well, what if I work on it and I still don't see anything? They say, keep working on it. Keep working on it. If people invented these cars and things, if they didn't work on it, you'd be walking today. You'd be back still doing a horse and buggy ride. Everything can be created out of nothing, it says. Everything can be created out of nothing. Out of what? Naught. No one thing. Huh? You can make it happen. You can make it happen. See, the O, zero, infinite, 0 point, right there. It's the naught. It appears to have nothing. Yet it is all things, because it has the power to invoke, to bring something in, to call something, to name something. That's why the phrase was, I am that. Meaning I claimed that to be the same that I am. That's a reflection of my divinity. I am that I am. So you can say it, I am that I am, and only keep that energy to yourself, or you can say, I am that I am. Or you can add some words, I am that which is I am. It is up to our beautiful spiritual divine nature to grow in awareness and to remember who we are. And once we know who we are, we move forward with who we are. We are here to live, to experience, but we're here to thrive, not just survive. This is our beauty. This is encapsulated on the inside of us. We are geos. If you want to be in touch with me, you can always email me at iam.circleofgrace1@yahoo.com or iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. And I suggest you use that second email. My Yahoo is overwhelmed. So you send me an email at the letters IAM, all lowercase, dot circle of grace with the number 1 at the end, just like you see above my head with my logo, at gmail.com. I have plenty of spiritual PDFs, 5 of them. The key to life is numerology, the art of manifesting your heart's desires, understanding your dreams, white light meditation and energy shields, and tarot basics 1, 2, 3. Next year I'm working on already energetic palmistry, how to sense and read auras. Now, sense and read auras and The palmistry one, they're old classes. I used to teach how to sense and read auras way back in the 1990s, middle 19 to late 1990s. You're also in that PDF on how to sense and read auras. You're going to look at colors and what colors can mean and how to see it around the body. Then also will be a PDF on the art of pendulums. You're going to find how pendulum helps you become more empathic, more psychic, more intuitive, more of a feeler, more clairaudient. I'm also going to create some others. So it's going to be an interesting time period when you get all of this information dropped in your lap. So to let you know further, because I have it right here, I have it right here. I might as well just read it to y'all so that you know that you're going to be seeing these other, excuse me, these other PDFs. I want to make sure you get to see it. So already is the ones that I've named. But yeah, I'm also going to put together handwriting is mind writing. Handwriting. So I'm gathering already different signatures, different scripts, and I have to upload them into my laptop so you can see what the different signatures look like. They're going to be left-handed printing signatures, left-handed script, and right-handed printed signatures, and right-handed script. So the art of pendulums, handwriting is mind writing, energetic palmistry, the art of psychometry I'm going to give you as well, how to see, scan, and read auras, and then decree it shall be. And the latest one, which I haven't written yet, but I'm already teaching it, that is how to channel. People have been asking me, how do I channel? And I meet a lot of people, and this is not bragging, I meet a lot of people who are channeling, and like all of us, as I was there too, and this is why I'm stating this, I didn't believe that I could do it. I didn't believe I had a connection. So I'm going to show you how to set a connection up. Some people already have the connection set up, but they don't know that they have a connection to the setup. And they don't understand that what the setup really is. So I'm going to go into that as well. And so that's 6 more PDFs. So hopefully somewhere before the summertime sets in, or by the fall, I should have them all ready. They're all going to go individually, $27 a piece. And what's so great about it, I'm developing courses around this now, so that you could develop yourself and you can move a lot faster on your own path. So we're going to make it possible for you to excel in understanding who you are spiritually and metaphysically. I also have my institute, and I'm coming back out with it. I'm refining the cost of it, and I'm changing some of the tools around because there are 5 distinctive levels, and the 5 levels comprise approximately 40 days of study. And the first one took 4 days, or 4 weekends, and the second level was 6 weekends, the third level was 8 weekends, the fourth level was 12 weekends, and then the fifth level was a 6-month stretch. But that's where I'm working one-on-one with everybody. And that's what I'm doing basically right now, mentoring masters. So it's going to put you in a level to be a master at what you do. Not be a master over anyone, but be a master of what you do and help you get to the next level or extend. So I'm going to close this show out. I will see you next Wednesday for all of you. Next Wednesday is December the 28th, and I'm going to come on that program with, in fact, I just didn't mention the other PDF. New one will be called decree and it shall be, based on an old radio show of 2009, and show you how to operate with words, to use a spiritual affirmative prayer treatment and use a decree as a spiritual treatment also. So we're going to cover those. We're going to get those set up for next year. Be on Blog Talk Radio, www.blogtalkradio.com /circle-of-grace-1 at the channel there called that I have, the Age of Remembrance. And we're going to utilize that because we're moving out toward the end of the year. So I'm going to put some pertinent information together, but definitely I'm going to use decrees to do it. And then a week from today, I'm going to do the same thing. So, and what I would like you to do, since I'm video live streaming here, if you know anybody who could benefit from these channel decrees, I'm just pull them out of the ethers and give them out. If you know anybody who wants to come on and receive this information, and you know what you could have is, sometimes people can't get online all at the same time. You can make an arrangement so people could get together where you're at, and like 3 or 4 of you could be watching the program from one location. That way you can type in a question for each of you, and we can still get the information out there. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then of course we'll be back fresh on January the 4th, which is a Wednesday, and January the 5th, which is a Thursday, with our programs again. 2017 is probably going to look a little different and be done differently, but I expect to do even more work, more teaching, one-on-one channeling classes, numerology classes, tarot classes. That's what we have here, Tarot Basics 1, 2, 3, going on. So it's to assist a lot of individuals, just how to get this energy working with yourselves. And I'm going to, at some point, I am going to wait for the springtime to roll around. I am going to do, because I was supposed to do it before the weather turned cold, but I'm going to wait till the springtime. I am going to get back into teaching Tai Chi, and I have my own short form, and I'm going to videotape it. I'm going to put it into 2 segments, 2 segments of 8 movements, because there's only 16 movements, and people will be able to learn it. And then we're going to set it up with my good shamanic brother and sister partners across town, Mike and Marie. We're going to work it together, and we're going to get a small group that will be interested. The unique thing about learning this, it's not a strain on you to learn it. So we're going to do a lot of things where people can receive it, learn it, and once they learn it, keep exercising it. And then I have another more expansive one. I have to make sure I have the notes on it, but that one, ooh, it's the same thing, but it goes a little longer. And it's something you have to do every day, but if you do it just right, you can do it within 181 days. It's a fabulous ride using this and focusing the energies a different kind of way as you do the different postures. So it's a very unique system of the Circle of Grace 1. My Tai Chi form is called White Eagle's Wings, and it's incorporated inside the Circle of Grace 1, so it's going to create a whole new level of learning and experiencing and being and becoming. So I'm going to close this out now. Those of you that are getting ready to do what you do for the weekend coming up, season's blessings to all of you. Those of you who have a birthday coming up already, happy birthday, happy solar return to you. Those of you who are moving and grooving in other levels, blessings be upon you. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing, as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you next time. Thank you so much.